All right, feel free to switch on your cameras. If you guys are here. Great, great, great. We'll start as soon as people switch on their cameras. Hey guys, are you there or not? Tyranide, Michael, and Vita. You have to have your cameras on, otherwise, there's no point in having these meetings. Yeah, Michael, Pachia, Anvita, you guys also.
Just a question. Is this supposed to be, is the camera supposed to be on for every meeting?
It is supposed to be on because this meeting really is just being scheduled for your benefit. We don't have to have this meeting. I'm scheduling this for you guys to get together and talk to each other, generate interesting ideas to share on the Reddit and so on. Yeah. So if you're not going to participate in the meeting, I'll just go ahead and cancel it. It doesn't matter. You can just interact by email, but you'll have much fewer opportunities to come up with interesting points for getting, a good grade at the end. Yeah. Does it make sense? Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, so yeah, and Michael and Kyle, you guys also. Okay, everybody needs to have their cameras on during this meeting because it is really a courtesy meeting for everyone. So you got to be courteous to every other classmate you have. And I think having a camera on is the first step. Hey, Kyle, welcome back. Your microphone switched off, by the way. Also have to have your microphone on. Cool. Michael, are you here? Okay, well, yes. I guess, you got to switch your camera on, okay? All right, so the purpose of these meetings, yeah, great, excellent. So this is how it should look every meeting at the very least. I'm not going to be there at all of these meetings, but it'll get recorded. And I will watch the recordings, okay? And in summer, I don't actually have face-to-face classes anywhere. But I am planning to watch the Reddit and watch your code more closely, and also watch all these videos that you guys are making. The one saving grace is, for people who don't want to have their cameras on, I think that if I set the meeting to record in the cloud, there is no way I can get a gallery view of everybody at the same time. So it only shows the active speaker. So, if you're silent, you never show up on screen in the recording. Okay, so, and which also could be a disadvantage because I'll never know that you're a participant in these meetings. Yeah. So, and being a participant in these meetings is important, although the bulk of your points will come from the final report and the Reddit post you make. But if you're never seen in these meetings, that will have some kind of effect because two people with the same quality of posts, but one actually attended meetings and the other didn't, then obviously who'll get more points. Yeah. So that's how I'll make my decisions. So it's actually very important to show up here in the camera with your camera on during these meetings, even when I'm not here, which is going to be pretty much all the meeting, unless I'm specially invited and saying, hey, can you please join the meeting? I'm more than happy to join the meeting occasionally over summer. But otherwise, you should just feel free to talk to each other with your cameras on. And during these meetings, you can discuss Quest issues. Don't use Discord, okay? Because if you use Discord, you're not getting any points at all. And in fact, we found from past data that people who use Discord usually ended up with fewer points overall in the participation. And I think, and then I interviewed these guys later, and I found that, well, I participate a lot in Discord, and I automatically thought in my head that I also participated. Okay, so maybe they came up with problems in their code they didn't know how to solve. They went to Discord, and they got a solution in a channel, in the back channel, and they solved it. It never occurred to them to make a Reddit post or talk about their problem even. So that's it, right? So they lost the point for the, for an opportunity to get a point ahead in participation. So don't use outside channels. Keep all the discussions open, okay? Nobody is stupid, okay? People can only be ignorant, and everybody is ignorant. I'm ignorant of several things. Ignorant means I just don't know, or I didn't have an opportunity to know. If you know something, you can always be open to the fact that it could be wrong. And, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I thought it was that, and it's not that. Okay, thank you for telling me. Yeah, that kind of attitude is what is very favorable among all team players. Hiring managers look for these kinds of qualities. So here's your opportunity to showcase yourself in the best possible light from the point of view of getting a job that you would absolutely love. Or if you're already in a job, that's fine. You already know how to behave and all. So, but most of you are students, and that's why I want to bring this up. Okay, so be active, help each other. At the end of the day, again, I keep telling this every single quarter, it is not whether you know the answer or not to an interview question that'll get you hired. Okay, at least in all the jobs that I've interviewed people for, it is not whether they know the answer. Okay, they'll get lots and lots of interesting problems, but if they know the answer, that's not it. The whole point of the problem, an interesting problem on the whiteboard, is hopefully the person does not know the answer, because only then they'll start thinking about ways to solve it. Okay, because the job of the interviewer, or what we're trying to find out, is essentially, is this person thinking right? Because if you know the answer, well, know one particular answer. How do I know you can solve another thing to come up out of the blue? Because you're not being hired for that one particular algorithm. Yeah. So people always look for how are they thinking? If they have this, what do? Do they sort it first, or do they not sort it first? Right. Well, all of these things, and then you do that, and they say, why did you do that? Say, oh, if I do that, I get a win. Okay, that's the bottom line. Okay, if you make an algorithmic change and you can prove that it is a definite win, that is a fantastic point. Okay, it gets you in the good books of any interviewer instantly. But the idea is you never ever go to LeetCode or all these places and memorize these stock algorithms. Okay, because there's tons of algorithms out there. How to reverse a list, how to merge sorted lists, how to max flow, how to this, how to that. Okay, many dynamic programming algorithms. You should look at a sample of those to just get an idea of what the hell are they doing, right? So 5 different problems. And they're all using the same strategy, but they're doing it differently. So I'll take a look at each one of those and find out where the strategy appears in the way they approach the problem. When you do that, after a while, you abstract out. It basically sublimes out of the concrete detail, and you'll have a picture, a mental picture of the weights in your neural net in your head have been trained, because they're not responding to the specifics of a particular problem set, which is called overfitting in machine learning. Okay, so if you have a lot of data and you train a model on it, it's always a risk. It'll overfit all the idiosyncrasies of the domain. Yeah. So what you want to do is basically, train on multiple, many different data sets where you have differences all over the place, and so that the overfitting is minimized. And what happens there is that the noise will generate and cancel out. And I think this is also related to this incredible way of calculating things. It's called the Fermi principle. The Fermi calculation. Right? Google it at some point. Right? The Fermi calculation is a very simple way mentally. Where without a piece of paper, without anything at all, someone asks you a quantifiable question, you can just give an answer, which is not exact, but it is actually in the ballpark, which is what most people are driving for. Like, how many taxi drivers are there in New York? Okay, how do you even approach that kind of problem? So, there's trusted techniques for trying, and it's simple, very simple. Just Google for it, and I can teach this to you at some point. It's like 5 minutes at some point later on, if you're interested. But it's a way in which you can actually look at, oh, that's really interesting. Okay, let me try and break it down. Okay, this is how I do it. Okay, it must be about 89,400. Right now, it's not like that. About 100,000, about 10,000, about 100,000, about 1 million. Okay, and so that means you're getting the order of magnitude right, which is usually what people are going for. They don't want the exact number. Okay, so in fact, when I taught 2A in person in class, we actually did a toy problem. We took a big fat book like Harry Potter or something like that, and said, what size megabyte USB thumb drive do I need to copy this in ASCII, from a source. So all you need is to count the number of characters in the entire book. So how do you get, how many characters, individual characters are there in the whole Harry Potter book, right? And and you can actually sit down and say, well, okay, well, 1 page, 1 line, all right, multiply, make some simplifying assumptions, and get the answer. Now, the reason I brought this whole thing up is that when you look at when you make multiple assumptions on the way to a solution, what happens is that this is the best hypothesis people have come up with regarding why it works by observing lots and lots of people making these, guesses, is that, you're going to have to estimate something here. And you're going to say, well, 100. Okay, you're going to estimate something for the next one. Always, you're going to make round number estimates. Okay, you're not going to go accurate. 100. You're going to ballpark. Okay, that's 1,000. Oh, that must be 1,000,000. Okay, that must be a 10. Right? You're making these estimates, and what happens? And the final number is just going to be some addition or multiplication of these things. What happens is that nobody is accurate in making these estimations. However, the overestimated one, on average, tends to cancel out the underestimated in something else, so that the final product at the end turns out to be falling in the ballpark of what the actual desired quantity is. It's quite incredible, isn't it? I think the name Fermi technique or Fermi calculation technique came about because this is a physicist, atomic physicist, who calculated the megatonnage of a nuclear bomb in the Nevada desert by dropping a handkerchief when it went off or something like that, right? And calculating the displacement. It didn't fall here, it fell there, it's 1 foot away. So, based on that, I can calculate what the megatonnage of the bomb was, okay? And within the ballpark, it's not like how, what kilotons versus megatons, it's the same. And so they will do. So that is the origin, I think, at least in the States. But it's been used in many civilizations. People use it all. Even if you talk to children there, that's automatically, that's what they're doing until they get, kind of corrupted in their way of estimating things. Then everything goes all right. But until then, that's essentially what most people are doing, right? So the reason I brought that up again is that important to do many problems, but not memorize any particular problem. If you memorize a particular problem, you're overfitting, because the algorithm plus what was needed to solve that particular domain is now etched into your head. Okay, the way to basically master the algorithm is to look at many problems that require the same solution. So the core will be exactly the same. However, the frills will be different everywhere. So the overall weight of all the different components in what you've learned will make it so that the core weights of, the weights of the core algorithm will be high, 5 times or 10 times, how many ever algorithms you've tried, right? But the individual details will only have 1/10, 1/5, and so on and so forth, right? So it evens out on average when you read a lot of algorithms. So the idea there is to look at many algorithms, look at many ways of doing things, and hopefully not knowing already how to do it coming in, so that you'll get an idea of how to solve these problems. And then when you get an idea of how to solve these problems, you can discuss them in the Reddit and saying, hey, this is how I do it. It's an interesting problem. Here's a solution. Here's an observation. In fact, there's lots of very interesting posts happening in CS2A right now. If you go to the blue subreddit, there's lots of students who are making incredible posts. I can only imagine that when they go to CS2A, then finish 2B and 2C, they'll have a complete portfolio of technical musings and reflections and posts and comments and helping other people that, if they're applying to a job somewhere, they'll just say, hey, my friend at Netflix, just take a look at this link. That's what I've done. They don't need even to go to an interview, because they'll know their entire personality, from their way of interaction, technical depth, and their promptness in dealing with things. Everything is out there on the Reddit, and that's what they're building up in CS2A. So you're slightly short on time because you're starting in 2B, and I'm not offering 2C. But there's no reason why you can't do the same thing within the 6 weeks. Okay, so you can take it upon yourself. Never solve any problems on the Discord. Never ask for solutions on the Discord. Never ask for solutions or problems here. Ask for hints and tips, but then the goal should be you making a Reddit post, and you can thank, right? You can thank people saying, hey, thanks to Pachia, the discussion I had with Pachia at the meeting, I came up with a way to solve that problem, and here's an interesting way to do it. Or, I found this, I would not have found it otherwise, or some interesting thing about it, okay? And that makes for a killer post, which you can, showcase happily. And so the idea with all of this is to help you, okay? Because at the end, this piece of paper you're going to get from Foothill or me saying, well, you aced it, not going to help you. What will help you is this incredible track record you're going to create, because that is a link you can put on your resume and will live with you forever. So this is your opportunity with a group of really collaborative, I hope, just like last quarter, okay? Collaborative people who are helping each other, having interesting discussions and asking interesting questions. And also sharing opportunities to make posts, right? Maybe you come up with 3 or 4, maybe Kayla comes up with 5 different ideas in class. Okay, and she could say, yeah, well, I'll write about the two of those, and you guys, somebody else. So all of these things are interesting, and so you can share ideas, you can share thoughts, and do these things. And at the end of the day, I think you will be absolutely happy, right? Because the goal is to set you up. Because even though I'm not behind you anymore, no professor is behind you. You've got what you've done behind you. Okay, and that's always there. It's part of your brain now, right? Even though you lose everything else, you've got that. And so this is your opportunity to do that. In the past, in all of the previous quarters, my students have said, this is fantastic. The way this, the meetings and the Reddit, they're all set up. It's just, coincidental. It's just feeding into each other very nicely, because they say this is such a collaborative atmosphere. People are helping each other, right? It's not like any other class I've taken where people are just trying to stomp on top of each other. Yeah. And still, learn a great deal. So it's all possible. And so that is ultimately up to you guys. So take that opportunity, and I'm very happy to see you all, and also some of my old students like Kyle. A long time since you did CS2A, but you're back. I'm happy to see you. All right. So anyway, if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, what I will do is this. I'll just take off, right? Because oh geez, all right, this meeting I have to hand over to someone as a host. I don't know, someone of you. Stanley, can you take over as host? If I who's got a good camera? And Stanley, have you got a good camera and a speaker?
Professor, actually, I have 2 questions.
Yeah, well, one sec, Tiernan. Was it
Okay.
Tiernan? Yeah, one sec. I want to make sure that I can hand over to someone before I go. All right, Stanley's not responsive.
Yes, yes, I have a good camera.
Yeah, someone spoke up.
Yes, I have a good camera. Yes, I have a good camera. And
oh, great. Okay. So when I have to exit, can I just hand over the host thing to you? I think because it's recording in the cloud, someone needs to be host all the time. And then when everybody's gone, you can just end the meeting. Is that okay with you?
Okay. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you, Stanley. All right. So Tirana, do you have a question?
So for like the posts, like tips and stuff, are we supposed to be posting it every time like we do a task, or are we doing it at the end of the whole?
No. You have to post every time you have an interesting thing to say.
Mm.
And you should hope that every week you have at least a couple of interesting things to say. In fact, that's what I tell my regular quarter, right? So you're doing a summer quarter, which means that you should hope that you have at least 4 interesting things to say. Like Alice said in Wonderland, right? Every morning before breakfast, I believe 2 impossible things or something like that. Okay, so you got to hope that you can share 4 interesting things. Well, even if it's an insightful comment on a fellow classmate's post, a question of your own, which sparks a lot of comments and interesting discussion, right? Sometimes people may ask a question and there's no response on it. That means doesn't mean that, hey, I made a post and nobody responded to it, so I'm off the hook. No, that means you made a post that wasn't interesting enough for other people to comment on. So you got to revise the post or delete it and repost it in a way that makes sense to other people. And I've seen in the past, not in the recent quarters, in the past, I've seen some very interesting posts, but didn't get enough traction. And I was thinking, well, what's common between all these? And unfortunately, maybe because of lack of experience, even though the matter in the posts were interesting, it was phrased in such a way that it came across to other students as I already know this and you guys don't. Okay, so it kind of made that superior inferior feeling come up, and I think that is probably a turnoff for many people. They'll say, I'm not gonna, why the hell am I gonna comment on that? So, but that has not happened for a very long time now, very long time since the questioning started. So maybe that is the only reason you need to watch out for. Otherwise, you should just feel free to post interesting questions. I'll absolutely be watching all the, Reddits. Some of you have already been, posting very interesting posts. Even the tips that Kayla posted on in CS2A, they're not the bad kind of tips. As I said in the syllabus, don't post tip sheets and all, because in the ancient times where people were trying to post tip sheets that were actually solutions to all the mini quests, they say, oh, mini quest 1, do this and you're done. And then, what's the point in doing the quest? It's no fun at all. Right. So when Kayla posted her first tip sheet, I took a look saying, oh my gosh, this is another tip sheet. No, it wasn't. Right. It was actually a very nice thing. So I thank you, Kayla. All right. So for each of the mini quests, it says, this is the interesting thing that the mini quest is looking for. This is how you would solve it, but not the answer. That kind of thing is really cool. Okay. So you can do that. but you don't have to, right? You don't have to. If you're able to, you can do that. And any number of people can do that for each quest, obviously, because each one's portfolio is going to be your own after you leave. Yeah, so you can build up your own this way. So I don't have anything else.
One more question. Regarding, because in the syllabus it says the freeze date, it says Monday.
Yeah,
AM.
for because yesterday was a holiday, we'll say tomorrow night for the first two.
I see. So is it like every week? It's a freeze date.
Yes, every week, the Monday morning of every week, the two quests that are numbered there will freeze.
I see.
Meaning you can still do it.
Okay.
You can still do it and get points, but it won't get transferred to Canvas.
So we just try to finish it before the freeze date.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to dog it before the freeze date. You just have to pup it before the freeze date. If you pupped it, then you can come back and dog it anytime you want, because all the scores will be picked up one more time before the final. Yeah, so just pup it, go for it, pup, and then you can come back and then dog one, each of them. I think that's the best strategy. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
How do you pronounce your name? Tiranade or Tiranad?
Tiernate, but you can just call me Win.
Tiernate,
Yeah.
Tiernate
Okay.
is good.
I have a question about that. So you said so since everything's due on the Monday, so the blue quests are all due tomorrow, right? So what about the recursion one?
Blue, yeah, that's what I said. Blue tomorrow, because according to syllabus it was today.
Yeah.
But yesterday was a holiday, so we'll make it tomorrow.
So is the recursion one, does that do tomorrow too, or do Monday?
No. Blue is tomorrow.
There's one I think on the. Am I missing? Okay, so the next one after that would be due that Monday, right? You're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Blue is tomorrow. Quest 1 and 2 on Monday. Quest 3 and 4 on next Monday as well. Yeah. Blue is tomorrow. And again, not blue dog. Okay. Blue, popping all of the blue. That is 180. I think it's something like 180. I don't know.
And you can go back and then add more if you really want to. There. Okay. Cool.
And just confirming, it's tomorrow at midnight, right?
Tomorrow. Well, I know it'll actually be day after tomorrow, early morning.
Okay.
I think it says 6 a.m. in the syllabus thing.
Thank you.
Oh, it says 6 a.m.
I think that's what it said when I looked at it last time, but I could be wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic about when I'll wake up then. All right.
I have a question about the blue quest. Does it matter like the score we get in the blue quest, or is that just to like hit the prerequisite and then the only scores that count is the green quest?
No. For popping the blue quest, you get certain, I think, how many? 10 points. And then for dogging the blue, that's 191 trophies plus, right? 191 plus trophies in blue gets you another 2 points. So I think there's 12 points altogether for blue.
So it's worth 12% of our grade, the blue quest?
On the syllabus it says 4%. So
it says 4
yeah.
on yeah. Does it say 4?
And you need to get above 190 trophies. So
yeah. Okay. I'm sorry guys. Yeah, but he's right. Okay, it's 4 and 2. 4 for popping and 2 for dogging. I'm thinking about the CS2C that I offered, where if for my CS2C, they get 4 points for the blue quest. They also have to do the green quest, but they get 10 points for the green quests. And then they move on to the red quest, right? So for CS2C, you got to finish both of these, and you get credit for both of those, and then you do the red quests. But they're all, it's not like linear, unfortunately. The level of difficulty, here it is. Okay, blue quest 1 to 5, like super duper easy. You can just sit down and do it in one sitting. 5 to 9, the last 4 blue, maybe it'll take you a few hours. Okay, so it's not that easy, right? Now from blue 9 to green 9 is not the same kind of slope. I think the slope is higher. Now Kayla is actually, Kayla is you, So right, so green is actually the learning rate in green is higher. It's not the same. You're not advancing at the same rate. Okay, now you can imagine the difference in slope, right? Difference in the slope of these two lines. Now just take that slope and double it one more time, and that it will be the pace or the slope in CS2C. Well, I'm not offering CS2C, but I don't know why I'm telling you that. But if you do want to do the CS2C quest, the red quest on your own, you're perfectly welcome to do it. Yeah. In fact, I am offering a boot camp on August 1st for combined 2A, 2B, 2C. It's an experiment where some of my previous students are interning for me, to create this boot camp and run it. So we're kind of excited about it as an experiment. But I think that is the only way in which 2C can actually run successfully. Because if I offer it through Foothill, a lot of students just enroll in 2C, I think, and they drop. So high drop rate within the first few weeks. And it's a bummer. And then we end up with like 10 students or 15 students at the end of the quarter. And I don't think it's fun for Foothill, right? Because they're charging, it's 40 students is the break even for Foothill, and they're consistently running these low enrollment sections. So I decided I won't offer this at Foothill anymore. But however, it would be a waste if the red quests are actually fun. It's out there, the red quests are more fun than the green quests. And so I thought it'd be a waste if nobody does that. So I had this idea, and then I spoke to some 2B students last quarter, and we're going to do this boot camp to all 27 quests in a matter of all 27 quests over summer in like 6 weeks. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see.
So how will we know when we get full points for like a quest? Like, will it say?
Oh, it's /Q. Go. I don't know what full points are. Okay, you just have to go for the trophy totals. I think it's for blue, it's 180 for pup and 191 plus for dog.
So if I have under 180, like that's not enough.
No, not enough for pup. No, actually, no. I'm sorry. Maybe you can correct me. Okay, someone can correct me, saying what's the minimum number of trophies required to pup blue, because it may be less than 180. What you need is a password from each one of those.
Okay, so if I get a password from each one, that'll at least count as pup.
And also you can make a post in Reddit saying I got a password and everything, that's the total number I had. And then I can use that number in my next syllabus. Because I actually don't know, because I've been adding trophies here and there over the years, and I actually don't know how many trophies there are in the various. Hey, Mithul, Brian, and Mike, Mitchell, you also got to turn on your cameras, okay? You came late, so you didn't hear us, but that was one of the preconditions of this meeting, that people who join this meeting should have their cameras on. What happened? Someone left? Mitchell, are you here? Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, great. Awesome. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Otherwise, I'll take off and you guys can carry on your own meeting. And actually, the screen is very nice. I think unfortunately, it's not gallery mode. The recording is not in gallery mode. Because I was thinking that if this was recorded in gallery mode, it makes for a very nice YouTube frame. It's very colorful. Like Anvita's background is pink, and then Jessica's is green. We got all these colors, right? And everybody's here, and it's very nice and colorful. No questions for me? All right. Okay. All right. I'm very happy to see you all. Okay. And I'm going to totally look forward to your participation. And as always, you have all your friends who are at the same in the same class as you. And you should absolutely feel free to interact with them on the Reddit here in the meetings and say, hey, I'm stuck here. Can you help me? And so on. Okay, and then you can carry on the rest of the conversation over Reddit. That's and say you can say, hey, I kind of get what you're saying, but not sure yet. But the meeting is going to end, so can I ask this, and can you follow up on Reddit? Great, yeah, you can follow up the conversation, and always have all of these conversations, even questions about things that you don't know. Fine, that people have been thinking in the past, and they told me also that they are very reluctant to make Reddit posts because they don't want to advertise the fact that they didn't know something, right? And that is really the worst thing. I think it is all in the US, Mark Twain's fault, maybe. Okay, I think it's Mark Twain. He said, "What is it? It's better to stay silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt." Right? And so anyway, what that means is that, if you don't know something, stay quiet. At least people will think you know it. But if you open your mouth and say something, it's confirmed. Everybody will know you don't know it. Okay. But that is the most stupid piece of advice that a student could take from Mark Twain. No, I don't think, everybody could be ignorant. So you should just feel free to ask. And I don't believe that anybody is stupid. And if you do make an accidentally stupid post, when you're drunk, hopefully you're not like drunk and coding at the same time. So if you make some stupid things, I'll delete it, okay? Because I'm following these forums. And even if I don't delete it, if someone else notices that, hey, Nelson made a post and I think it could basically shoot him, shoot himself in the foot later on, okay? Then yeah, you look out for each other. And then I'll take a look and then I can delete it because I'm the mod. Pretty soon I'll have some other mods as well. But we should all look out for each other. Good posts, encourage them, upvotes, right? Bad posts, let the person know so they can yank it before, and also learn from it, saying, hey, that's why it's bad. So we, and things like that. So people should feel free to ask questions. And in fact, when I used to hire people, I was always favoring people who ask questions, saying, I don't know how to do it. Can you tell me how to do it? Okay, that's much better for me as a response when I ask a question, rather than some totally lame answer that doesn't have any scope for the possibility of being right at all. Just because you got to give an answer, here's an answer. That is totally stupid, right? So better to say, I don't know. Do you have an idea? Can you tell me, right? And I actually love those kind of people who ask those kinds of questions because, when anyone hires us or you for a job, they are looking for someone who can learn this new thing. It's not your old job again. It's a new job. You got to learn. So you got to display the characteristic of you that is a learner. And it's not just for, your grad studies or your school or something. It is for people who want to hire you for a job also, because unless they're hiring someone for a very, very specific job, like, someone's got to make this particular yellow colored switch on and off every day at 4 o'clock. Yeah, okay, you don't have to learn anything there. But most of the time, these jobs are all so different. You can't take the skills from one job and transfer it to another. So the best bet for a hiring manager is to look for people that can learn fast, and that is the attribute in you that hopefully you'll get a chance to totally polish up here. Okay, so thank you all for enrolling in the class, and I can already see this is going to be a great section because you all turned up here and you seem eager, and so I'm going to be there to support you. Support you meaning I'm not going to answer at all. Sometimes I see you guys posting a question and you're frustrated and say, oh, I'm desperate, and and so on and so forth. But it's really hard to not answer. Okay, or even give hints. For me, I can give hints. But no, I don't want to give hints because giving hints is a useful skill that some of you want to pick up also, right? So I leave the giving of hints to other people first. And if that person is totally desperate and, tomorrow or something like that, I might give a hint in the last day or something, right? Because nobody else has given a hint so far. But and that is the reason why you should not put everything off until the very last minute, because then, you post a question, you're stuck and you're frustrated and you don't have an answer. You have to wait. You have to be patient and wait, right? Getting patience is another skill that will be tested. So you got to do everything in good time and post and wait. And it'll be fun. Okay. I will join the occasional meeting, later on. And obviously you can also feel free to let me know. Okay. Later on, after week 3, maybe some of you have already done stuff and you want some extra credit stuff, and we can have extra credit meetings where I can guide you through a small mini project, interesting project or something. Right. So those are all possibilities. But get through this first, and we'll see what we can do. All right, this is about 5 chat messages. Unfortunately, I don't look at the chat because it takes up too much real estate. Yeah. All right. Okay. It's just a different conversation, so it doesn't require me. Okay. Great. So, all right, bye guys, and best of luck with this class, okay? And keep the forums flowing and have a good time. And reach out to me anytime you want, right? So Stanley, get ready, okay? So I think it's gonna ask, assign a host.